Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Firefighters Podcast, where we seek to develop, inspire, and motivate the world of the emergency services operator through a series of wide-ranging conversations. Now, before we go any further, just hit that rate, follow, or subscribe button on whatever platform you're listening to. It's a key performance indicator for us and helps us reach even more people. Now, here's what we've got for you today.
How much attention do you actually pay to the uniform you wear every single day? Maybe you think you don't pay much attention to it, at least not when you're first given it. But the reality is it plays a role in how you feel at work every single day, right? You know, the trousers that don't quite fit right, the boots that just never really feel comfortable, the shirt rides up your back, you know, the shoulders that just don't seem to sit properly, and of course, the crotch that rips inevitably when it comes within 10 feet of any kind of enthusiastic lunge. And it always seems to be at the worst possible moment. So individually, might sound like small things, but over time, they definitely add up, because having poor uniform doesn't just look bad. It impacts how you feel, right? How confident you are, and ultimately, how well you're able to do your job. And if we're honest, most of us don't think about it enough. We just get issued it, we wear it, we kind of crack on. And it's only after a few weeks, maybe a few months, and those little problems start to show up. The seam starts to go fabric phase, the pockets fail, movement just starts feeling restricted. And you find yourself thinking, well, this really isn't great. But you know, at that point, it really does feel like it's just too late. You know, we've invested in this thing and we're just doing it. So hold on to that and zoom out for a second. Across the UK Fire and Rescue Service alone, we're spending somewhere in the region of 600 million a year on goods and services. A whole big chunk of that, like tens of millions every year, is on uniforms and PPE. Zoom out even further, because everyone's dealing with the same problem. Police, ambulance, and the wider first responder sector, you're now into the hundreds of millions annually being spent on what we wear. You're looking at an industry that's worth tens of billions. So the uncomfortable question has to be, if that much money is being spent, why are so many people still walking around in kit that is rubbish or just doesn't hold up to the job? Why are we still dealing with trousers that split, shirts that fade, uniforms that don't actually support the job we're doing? And maybe the real question in this for me, if most of us don't really understand the fabrics, the design, the durability, and the procurement, because so many people change in and out of procurement roles, how do we actually know what good looks like? I mean, we know what good feels like, but the truth is we usually don't know what we're supposed to be looking for. We learn the hard way after we've invested in what the bad stuff is. So I can do nothing but step back and start to wonder, and I really do think this now, have we, in some areas, just been getting quietly conned for a very, very long time? This episode is about getting curious about that and getting serious about it, because we want to understand what actually goes into the uniform we wear, what should be expected, what's a reasonable expectations for the kit and the uniform you're wearing every day, and what better could actually look like. Well, my guest today is going to take us there. I'm speaking with Claire Wilford, who's the head of European sales at First Tactical. I have decided to do this episode with Claire, A, because she's lovely. Wait till you hear the action. She's great. But more so than any of that, she knows what she's on about. It's nice to be lovely and know what you're on about. But then the real slam dunk is that the kit she's talking about, I've been wearing for months on months on months. Well, actually like probably 7 or 8 months now, all over the world. And it is the absolute nuts. Claire's background spans loads of stuff, education, industry, and she's now working across the UK and Europe with first responder organisations and the military. She's sitting right at that intersection between design, procurement, and actually real-world use. She knows the stuff, and it's not about telling you necessarily what to wear. It's about giving you the insight to start recognising the difference for yourself, because once you understand what good looks like, you're going to stop accepting what isn't. This is my conversation with Claire Wilford, and we are going to rip the sheets off and expose exactly what you should be expecting from your uniform every single day. I'll see you on the other side. I was watching Game of Thrones the other day, because I know it was like a really old series, but I hadn't watched it before, so I was watching it again with my missus, and I was thinking about how ridiculous it was, the pomp and the sort of glorification of the uniforms and everything back then. Never seemed remotely functional. You know, when you see the old war films and people would stand up on the front line and they'd stand like 80 feet away from each other, and I'm like, the stuff you're wearing doesn't look like it's designed to run through a field, because it was all pressed and quartered, and you see like Navy ships and, you know, our military, and they look beautiful. But 40, 50 years ago, you were like, that looks so impractical. And then it's like when you say like the future's arrived, but it's not evenly distributed. You look across our different organizations now. You look at military, you look at police, you look at fire service, and you think some of that, someone's clearly started to switch on a bit. And some of it, you're like, what are you doing? That does not look
Yeah.
comfortable.
No, I hear you. I mean, some of these, like you say, the older films in Game of Thrones, you're wondering how they can even move. Like, some
Yeah,
of it looks completely rigid, and
it's
you're like,
so
how are you
crazy.
honestly even able to move? Never mind actually perform a really active job.
When you first sort of came into this sector of the world and started working with different organizations, different services around uniforms at different levels for different tasks, for different functions, different roles, how much do you still come across that now? You know, given all the innovations you've seen and seeing the great stuff that First
Yeah.
Tactical are bringing out, and you're like, how were you guys still wearing that stuff versus anything else? But like, I mean, we have this stuff, but why are you still wearing that? What's the arguments that you have back?
Oh, it's so varied, because I mean, suppose the first thing I noticed when I started working with all the different fire services is how varied it is, and
Hmm.
that everybody wears something different and they've got their own mark on it. And a lot of times you'll have influences, obviously, from the top down in terms of what people want, and there'll be different opinions as it's coming down as well. And there might be the no, we require more smarter aesthetic, so we want to stick with a shirt, a more professional shirt. Just like what you're saying, do you have that level of comfort? Do you have that level of being able to move and perform? But then us in all our services, it'll be no, we want to go for say a polo, and then they might be more forward thinking in the
Hmm.
fabrics that they'll actually use, and it not just be rigid cotton. So it's really varied what I
Hmm.
see. But when you do come up across that, no, we gotta look smart, it's very difficult to move that dial, because I think when somebody has that way of thinking, and I get it, because I get the whole uniformity and I get the you're there working with the public as well, and that you want to
Yeah.
present a certain,
Well, I think
look
the overarching
and
principle is you're
feel.
looking for professionalism, but
Yes.
we've also got, I think across a lot of the first responder sector, we've got conflicting values of tradition and innovation. We've got practicality and functional, but also presentable. And
Yeah,
people think you can't have, in a lot of people's
can't
minds,
have
they seem
both.
conflicting ones. Because when you do say a word like, we're very traditional, we want to,
Yes,
we want to honor the past and we want to remain this. And I'm like, you can do that, but you can still innovate within that sphere. But if your
100%.
only definition of that is some picture of Massey Shaw or one of the first fire captains or one of the first police constables or lieutenants or chiefs of police or whatever, and you go, I need a white pressed shirt. And I go,
Yeah,
that is so goddamn impractical. That is
yeah.
so. And also, I actually wrote a little paper to the organization that I work for because a lot of that, I argue, is back to the whole white collar, blue collar worker. Do you know what I mean?
Mhm.
And I'm like, your white
Yeah,
collar thing, you don't realize how much that is a barrier for
yeah,
working with other members of your staff because it says I am
yes.
managerial, I am administrative. Actually, if you get back into the context of it, and I'm probably going to fumble my way through this, but like it says that I'm not going to do practical work because that is beneath me. I will wear
Uh-huh.
white. You know what
So
I
I
mean?
can wear white.
You are a blue collar worker. You will wear blacks and you will wear blues because you are more. And I'm like, you
Mhm,
realize you're perpetuating that by
mhm.
continuing to protect that you think you're protecting professionalism, but you can still look remarkably professional. You know, are you standing there saying that all of our police officers who are wearing, smart black shirts or polos, are you saying they're not professional then? Because if you're saying the only way to look professional is for you to wear a pressed white shirt, you're actually saying they look unprofessional. You may not feel like you're saying that, but that is what you're saying. And it's just some people still grab onto it so tightly, don't they? And I don't understand why. I can't seem to rip them away from
Yeah,
it.
I mean, I think you can have both. I
Okay.
think that you can have there are ways, and for the company that I work for, we do make some, because when I think of smart, I normally think of shirts. We
Hmm.
have some shirts that are, a bit of a mashup of both. You can
Hmm.
have a comfortable, lightweight, breathable fabric on the body and on the underarm area where you can have issues with smells.
Hmm.
And then you can have a smart collar. a more shirt collar and sleeves. So there are, for people who are maybe wanting to like look at being a bit more innovative, but not ready to move away from a shirt, I think there are options there to dip your toe in. But to get back to your point that you're making about, should we have a difference? That's so personal, isn't it? I
I
mean,
don't
me
think you need the
personally,
difference in the day to day. If
yeah,
you're going to a formal event, you're going to Remembrance Day, or you're going to present to the local council, or you're going to whatever, then yes, you wear your dress uniform and you have, a nice suit, you have your flat cap, you have your white shirt. But you don't need to wear that every day. And it must be, I think, well, you know better than anyone. Is it comfortable for that person to wear day in and day out? And is it necessary for them day in and day out? For certain events, these things will always exist.
definitely that
I
you
love nothing more
should
than putting on
wear.
my dress
Yes.
uniform for Remembrance Day or for
Oh
my
God,
friend's
yeah.
wedding or for whatever. I feel a massive sense of pride in it. I would not want to wear it every day because it's not functional for me as a firefighter
Yeah, you
when I'm
can
trying
have
to drop a
both.
knee and demonstrate
Yeah.
low movement in a fire. I'm gonna the amount of times with older providers I've ripped my goddamn crotch of my trousers is not even
Yeah.
worth it. I'm not even worth explaining because can't be asked to send it back every time. I just end up sewing it up myself and making a bad job of it.
I mean, whoa. In this day and age, that just shouldn't happen, should it?
No.
That, trousers are just feeling like that. But I mean, you're not alone because that is happening. I mean, back to should there be a difference? Me personally, I think, there shouldn't be like you that much of a difference. We're a team,
Hmm.
let's look like a team, let's act like a team, let's move like a team. But then obviously there has to be a hierarchy. More people are carrying more responsibility and they have to be able to make the decision and people have to follow the decision. So I
Hmm.
do see that there are times when there should be a difference. But in terms of being able to move in your uniform and not worrying about it splitting up the inside leg
Yeah.
or along the back, I mean, that just shouldn't happen. Like when you go to the gym, are you worried? Like when I go, I'm not worried my leggings are just going to split.
No.
No, never think about that. Never worry. I don't think that I'm going to be, smelling either because the fabric works well. It's antimicrobial. I stick
Yeah.
it in the wash, it comes out, right? So the
It's how
provider
much
of the
quicker they dry as
clothing,
well. The old cotton
oh gosh,
traditions.
yeah.
It
Yeah,
would
and
just
then they're
stay
not,
damp and then it would go crusty and then you'd have the white patching on it. Because I sweat
oh.
like something obscene. Do you know what I mean? I'm not unfit, but I just seem to, I don't know why I sweat so goddamn much. It's ridiculous. And I would just constantly, have to say like 3 or 4 t-shirts to work with me because I'd just, every time we did a training session, I would end up
You need a
with
new
just
one.
white patches on me. I'm like, oh, well, this is not looking good. No matter how much I
No.
sprayed or rubbed or put some balm under my arms or whatever it is, you just couldn't get around it because I was always being faced with this same old blue cotton t-shirt that they just pump out to me.
Yeah, and why should you have to all the time? No, we can't be running around like giving a bespoke fitting service to every firefighter
Mhm.
because it's public money and everything else. So it can't be that,
Mhm.
but it should be fit for purpose.
Mhm.
And if it
Mhm.
is a certain factor of maybe not that fabric, maybe this other fabric, well, why wouldn't you give that a go?
Mhm.
And like, on the whole thing of is it fit for purpose or not?
Mhm.
How do you know if it's fit for purpose as a fire service? Because a lot of the times when stuff is being trialed, let's say go out for procurement, I mean, it might only be trialed for a month or two,
Mhm.
and maybe
Mhm.
that
Mhm.
firefighter's trialing 4 different shirts or
Mhm.
4 different pairs of trousers. Well, how many shifts are there in a week? How many times have they worn it? And how many times have they washed it?
Mhm.
So, do you know if the colour's fading? Do you know if
Yeah.
that zip is going to fail? Do you
Mm.
know if the pockets are going to give? Now, these are real problems that I have come across and seen with my own eyes with, people from the fire service wearing trousers come to me in here, they put on the first tactical trousers, and then they're like getting down and crouching down and doing all this mad crazy stuff because they're wanting to shake. They're not going to split, and I'm like, this is a real problem.
I
Like,
think I accidentally gave the first tactical. I think is it the V2, the ones that I accidentally I think gave them
probably.
the best trial version by accident when I was most recently over in Atlanta because one of my bags got lost. So I traveled in the pants, and I didn't get the rest of my clothes when I got there because they lost the bag. So I was without it for a few days. So for the first 5 or 6 days,
You're wearing them?
The only pair of trousers I had with me was them, which is fine.
How lucky are you? How lucky that's the choices you were wearing?
Christ. Because we had some meeting functions to go to, meeting some trans people, but I spent a lot of time on stations. And whenever I go to those stations, I want to get involved in some of the training. And everyone's giving you stuff. They're giving you patches. They're giving you giveaways. They're giving you bits of kits. You've got bottles of water. And all I had was these trousers. So everything was being loaded into these pockets. And then they're like, oh, we're going to come out and do this. Do you want to be involved? And I'm like, yeah, absolutely. So I'm immediately just throwing some gear on. And then I'm, crawling around, or we're doing some door entry, drills or whatever. And then we're going, we're going to go have lunch now. And I've still got the same stuff. I don't have the ability to get changed or anything like that. So I wore them straight for 6 days. And
what did they think of you, Pete? They're like, this guy's got no clothes.
Well, I said to someone, I haven't got anything else I haven't got anything else. I've had a shower. I was like, I haven't got anything else. They're like, dude, don't worry about it. No one cares. But they were absolutely goddamn fantastic. Absolutely fantastic.
That is good.
Do you know what I mean? They weren't hanging on me. They were, anytime I did get warm and sweat off or anything like that, they were drying off so fast. The pockets, I was astounded, held up, because I probably unnecessarily carry way too much stuff. I mean, I could reach behind me and show you all the things. So I'm always carrying. I have these. I always have 3 or 4 pens on me. I always carry a pocket knife of some form with me. I've always got this. This is, in fact, I think you guys do these, don't you? I don't know if you do actually, but this is a torch. This is one of these, and it slides. It's really thin, so it slides just inside one of the pot. I don't actually know who makes it. I'm not going to cross promote. This is why I bought it myself. And I've always got some patches on me, but my pockets are always full. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And then I've always got a pad with me, and then I've always got a phone. And when I was out there, I always carried some of those clip-on microphones so that we could quickly just do some recording with somebody. We've got a load of stuff that we're going to release. So they were always and then I've always got a bottle of water with me. That's either clipped onto my trousers somewhere, or if there's room in the pockets, it'll be in one of the pockets. So I'm over testing stuff all the time.
But that's great.
Yeah. Someone gave me a cast iron forcible entry tool that you could slide over barrels. And he gave me it because he was like, oh, this is just an old one. You can use it. And it's cast iron. So it was bloody heavy. And I put that into one of my pockets as well. And I was like, this is definitely going to rip them. And I had it in there for about 6 hours when we're on and off this bus, and then go back to the hotel. Absolutely fine. But I was like, I was a little bit annoyed. I thought I was going to have to order another pair from you guys, because I was like, this is going to rip it, because it was like a lump of.
But you were like, I'm going to do it, because let's see.
Well, I wasn't going to hold it in my hand the whole time, so I kind of accepted.
Well, yeah.
If it rips,
you might destroy them.
Oh well, but
I mean, I'm not surprised, Pete. I knew they would have held up.
Well, I know, but
because obviously I have the insider knowledge on how it's made, the fabrics, the threads, all that. So I knew they would last.
But old stuff before, even just putting pens in and out the pockets for a couple of weeks, you'd end up poking a hole straight through the bottom of the thing. And especially again with that blade, it does fully retract, but it's got some metal burring on it because I've chipped it on stuff, and that would catch on different, and it would just start to rip the threads away. But anyway, total segue for me, but I accidentally, I think, tested the hell out of them. Plus, I've been to Dubai in them since. I've been over to Germany wearing them. We took them over to Gibraltar. I took them to Venice, because when I'm going to the airports now, the pockets are just that practical that I don't want to wear anything else when I'm traveling, because I've got my pockets set up. Do you know what I mean? When I know where my things are. My passport goes in this one. My blade's in that. Yeah.
There.
But there's so many places
I'm like
don't
Pete,
have
but
that.
it's lip balm that I'm taking. It's lip balm.
Yeah, well, I have that problem as well. I have to carry the hair products and everything else. Otherwise, I have a bit of a flip.
Totally get what you say. Like, trousers, they have to be functional. You're doing a job and you have to have all your different bits. We need them, and we're all busy and we're expected to just get up and go and be ready at all times. So you have to know where that is quickly. Right, there's my phone. Not like, where did I put that? And sometimes that can be a problem if you've got a lot of pockets and dividers. But if you do have like your favorite trousers, it's in this pocket, it's in the second divider, that's where it is. It's not in that mag
We're very
pocket.
romantic about that in the first responder sector. We like our stuff. My missus thinks I'm like so just anal, just like you're a psychopath.
No, just that
when she'll
pair.
put something, when she'll put something back in this bag, if she doesn't put it in the right pocket, oh my sweet lord. Because
Because she can't find it.
she'll just want to put it in the middle, and I'll be like, "Don't put it in the big middle pocket. That's for the big stuff.
Not in the main
That one
compartment.
goes in there because it goes. Baby,
Mhm.
it goes where we took it out of. It goes back in that pocket
The
because then we know
same
where it is
place.
next time. But anyway, the functionality of stuff. I feel like the fire service is still a bit behind on that because when I look at our brothers and sisters in the military, I
Mhm.
think they maybe got there first, and maybe is
Yeah,
that because
I
a
agree.
larger proportion of their work takes place in the field, and they carry heavier stuff. Like they will have magazines, and they'll have other things that they need to put in side pockets, so that the strength and rigidity of the trouser probably, and also they operated in some really hostile environments. Way more so than us. Then I think the police got there next. But
Mhm.
maybe not all over the police, because sometimes I still see a lot of community support officers who are wearing sometimes what I would say a dated type of uniform that
Yeah, I
looks
think the
less
police
comfortable.
has got a lot of work to do.
Yeah, but they still
I
seem
think.
further ahead than us.
I think certain teams,
Yeah,
like firearms units who were first
yeah.
tactical, maybe counterterrorism, those
Hmm.
kind of units, yeah, they're further ahead.
Yes.
But I think when you go to just, your regular police service who are the guys
Mm,
out there on the streets all the time,
yeah.
they're putting the legwork in.
We're working in collaboration with the Blue Light Show, a national conference and exhibition built around one thing. Blue light services do better together than apart. I'm going to be there 1st and 2nd of July 2026 at the event, getting involved with those conversations and connecting with people who really care about doing the job better across the blue light sector. I'll see you there. But you said you were speaking to a colleague in policing.
Yeah,
I think you mentioned it was as a female, and
yeah,
just the tightness in the trouser, because I've got quite thick legs, not as thick as I used to have, and I'm quite tall. But
yeah.
the makeup of men versus women are slightly wider in the hip, and they will be slightly wider in the leg. And did she injure herself in some capacity?
Well, yeah, that's right. She had this is somebody I'd known from a previous life when I used to be a teacher. You probably gathered, like you, I love talking.
Yeah.
So, hence we're both here today doing a bit of talking. But yeah, this girl, I'd known her a long, long time. She went into the police service doing a great job, and she smashed her whole knee, like in a
Mhm.
bad, bad way. She was chasing somebody and she went to jump over a wall that wasn't very high, but the fabric wouldn't stretch enough to enable her to get her leg over. And so she kind of half got over and then
Yeah.
locked down on that
Mhm.
knee, all the weight on that
Yeah.
knee. And yeah, that's it. And then she's out of work for a really long time.
Mhm.
And that has lots of other implications for somebody, when you're out of a job that you love for that long. So, me, really, I couldn't believe it because I'm like, for something so
I
basic
could
as
believe it
that, a real
1,000%.
part of the job.
Yeah,
I
yeah, I
mean,
know.
how does it not stretch where you can like jump over? Just like with the fire service, having trousers that don't split
There's a
or tops that
hypocrisy in the
don't
trousers, right?
smell.
Because we will buy a specific PPE provider for our fire kit over the top, yeah? And
Yeah,
they specifically have to have, loose fitting,
anything. Yeah.
stretch, ergonomics and or whatever the special words are, so that we can do all these movements. But then ironically, we're still wearing a uniform underneath it that
That
doesn't
stops it.
stretch.
Yeah, I
So
know.
then when we do the things in the PPE, which we were told we should do, the PPE's fine, but you've
Yeah.
ripped your goddamn trousers.
I
Do
know,
you
you
know
still
what I mean?
managed to move feet though, didn't you? But shame about those trousers. I mean, it's
Yeah,
when
I just
you think on it though, it's because sometimes it can come down to cost. can't it? And like, I know you have a whole
Yes, yeah. I
fire
get that.
service that you're running, and I know that the actual fire kit costs a bomb, doesn't it? So when you're
Definitely.
like adding it all up and you've got everything, I know there's only a certain amount of money to go round.
Mm.
But I think as a basic standpoint, though, regardless of what manufacturer or what brand you go with, you should have two things that I think there can be issues out there with. And it's that the quality, fit for purpose,
Mm.
and, supply as
Mm.
well.
I was about to
Is
say,
that
because
company gonna
you
give
guys
you
have
that
been
kit on time or not?
you've been kind enough to kind of I've been and visited the team, and yourself and Sean and David and everybody, and I've had a bit of an inside look behind the curtain, and I don't know how to say it in a politically safe manner, but when I look across the spectrum now and I look at other uniform providers, I'm like, oh my God, they are really ripping people off. Now, and that was the insight that I got when I saw the quality and the level that you guys were able to provide at the similar pricing, and they can't provide that quality, yet they are still charging more for a lesser product, in my personal opinion. And I don't know how much we're able to go into the details of, like, you mentioned there about supply, and for
Yeah.
people that are completely unfamiliar with this, a lot of stuff changed maybe during COVID, when like shipping got so much more tremendously expensive. I don't know what insight you can give into that, because I know you guys and girls are in quite a unique position in as to why you've been able to navigate it the way you have to bring this sort of quality of product at the pricing that it
Yeah.
is.
I mean, because we have the products that we are supplying to the fire service from a clothing standpoint is like all first tactical. So what we do is the UK distributor for that is Contact Left or CL Distribution, whatever you want to call it. And they hold the stock here anyway. So when we know we're supplying Navy V2 to the fire service, we just get it in and we hold it here. It's
Okay.
an off the shelf product, so we can do that because it's not like, oh well, such and such fire service wants a lint track in there, so well they want that, but they want this little bit on
Mhm.
here, and then that has to be manufactured because it is just a standard item. We have it and we're ready to go. Now, if for instance we had a mad rush on sales or a mad rush on one size, weren't expecting it, and you're caught short, our main warehouse is in Modesto, and we get deliveries from there every week, sometimes twice a week. And they have like, I think was it 98% or something like that in the last rep meeting I was in, that's where we're at for our
Mhm.
fill potential, so we can just get it in days. So this whole thing of supply, again, when I first got in this page, I didn't think that somebody in the fire service could be ordering trousers and they're told they have to wait for 12 months.
12 months. Well,
12
because I
months?
imagine
This
those
is real?
companies, they've gone the other side of the world somewhere to get something made for dirt cheap by someone in a sweatshop. And then it's spending 9 months on a boat just for 50 or 100 or 300 pairs of something to come all the way. And whilst they thought they've saved the money by making it for dirt cheap in the middle of nowhere, they're paying that
Yeah.
extortionate cost and lead time for it to be shipped halfway around the world. Whereas you guys have, taken that leap of faith into, no, we want to give first responders the right stuff and want to be able to give it to them when they need it. So you've kind of put yourself out there in bringing this high quality much closer to home. And that's a risk. There is a massive risk involved in that.
Oh, yeah.
But it
You could
also
be
gives you
left
that
with it.
agility. Well, it gives you that agility.
You
Well,
could be-
yeah, you're left with it, but also you're like, we know this
we
stuff.
won't, though, because
We
it's
know
that
this stuff.
good.
Yeah, we know
Yeah.
this stuff is that good.
No,
You'd be
it's that
annoyed if
good.
you had a
So,
shed full of plastic widgets that no one ever wanted to buy, and you're like,
yeah.
damn it.
I
People have
mean,
made
these
those
navy
business. Yeah,
V2 trousers, people are wearing them all
they're
over the
banging.
world.
They're banging.
And the
Yeah. Yeah.
European rep. I know navy V2 pants, everybody wants them.
Mm.
So, but you're right. If somebody's shipping from, wherever and it's taking months to get here, that's fine to do that because that keeps your costs lower and you can sell it on cheaper. That's great. But get it in advance. Do you have a backup plan for when,
I don't even
there
think those are
is
like for
those
like product
few
though. I
months?
still
There
don't think they're
should.
as good. Even the people that are doing that, because we've had different providers. that I've used and worked with before, and I think people just got so used to this is as good as it gets. As in,
Yeah, put up with
we're
it.
never going to get something like what the military get. We're never going to get something. But even paramedics, a lot of paramedics have got better stuff than the fire service now. I think they even took the step before we did when they started to see a lot of their, I mean, their heart teams and some
Yeah.
of the teams that work in the more dynamic environments. They even got better kit than we did. I've turned up on a lot of incidents where I've had my colleague from the ambulance service there, and I'm looking them up and down, and I'm like,
Where'd you get that?
that's way better than where I'm wearing. Where did you get
Does that come in Navy?
Exactly.
No,
But
I
yeah,
I totally know what you say. I mean, it is a matter of, I think, getting out there, knowing
yeah,
what other brands are out there, trying them out. When people put on the trousers, our trousers, I can't speak for everybody in
of
the
course.
world or
Yeah.
everybody in the fire service, but more than 9 times out of 10, they love it. I
Mhm.
had a female from a fire service in here about a month ago, and she was wearing men's trousers, which of course is another issue too. And I was
Happens all
like,
over the
"Hey,
place.
we
All over the
got we
place.
got female fit here. Why don't you try these on? See what you think?"
Mhm.
And she was reluctant, and I said, "Come on." What size would you be? So anyway, we got her size, and then we pulled a few sizes because you can't be sure of the fit that someone likes. Are
Mhm.
they wanting it snug around the hips or not? You know what I
Mhm.
mean? So always give a few. Being a female myself, I know that you have your way you like to feel and look. It doesn't matter what anybody else tells you. That's the way you want to
That's
be.
it, baby.
So off she went, tried them on, and came back, and she looked amazing. Now, I'm not saying that has a big thing to do with how she feels, but she looked amazing. She just lashed at all her pair of trousers, and she's like, "Oh, I'm done with them." And I couldn't help saying how great she looked because compared to the last pair, this woman had a lovely, lovely figure. Not that that matters, especially in a professional aspect, but you couldn't see what she looked like before, and she looked
Yeah.
amazing.
But you know
And
what? That does make a difference.
I don't think
We
so.
know that in our personal lives. Do you know what I
Oh,
mean?
yeah.
When you were like, if I put something good on, like I put this t-shirt
You
on,
feel ready.
this one, total transparency, you guys were kind of, I,
That's your good
I,
one, is it?
I remember when I came over because I think you guys were
Oh,
waiting for a
I know
delivery
what
that
you're
week.
wearing.
Yeah, I'm wearing the FDNY one that's got the
I've
thing on the
got one
back.
here.
Oh, have you got another one? Because I remember when I was there, it
It's
was the
not for
last
you,
one you
Pete.
had.
Okay.
It
Can
was the
stay
last one you had,
away.
and I went, "Oh, that's great." And I think David went to go do something else, and I just tried it on. And then he came back and he was like, "Oh, you're wearing the one I told you not to wear. That I told you we only have
Yeah,
one of at
yeah,
the
yeah.
minute."
That that
And
I
then it
thought would be a bit
just
too
seemed to
tight for
stay on
you,
my
but
back.
you were like, "This
No,
is
well,
fine.
it's got the things in the arms as
This is
well.
fine."
So it's you know what I'm like.
And it'll
Anyway,
wash well, and it'll hold the
it bloody
color
has. I
because
tell you what, I've worn
that's
this all over the
the
world.
yeah,
Um,
that's that. That's that
but
long fibered cotton we're
feeling good,
using.
feeling good in what you're wearing makes a massive difference, doesn't it? It gives you a
Yeah, how
sense of
you carry
confidence.
yourself.
Yeah, it does.
How you
And
yeah.
I don't think we've really given that the credit because it's a bit like I don't know if I'm relating this wrong, but I'd say it's a bit like a placebo effect. Because if someone
Mm.
said, "Well, actually, Pete, you feeling good in what you wear doesn't have a tactical advantage," and I'd be like,
Mm,
"No, but I feel more confident in what I wear. Therefore, I am going to operate better because I feel confident. I feel like it fits well. I look good
yeah,
in what
I'll
I'm
take
wearing.
charge. I'll
I'll
do
take charge."
it with conviction.
Yeah.
You
But I
know,
feel like it's only when women have started coming into the first responder space more that we've actually given that. I mean, it should have always been the case for men and for women, but certainly for
yeah.
women, I think we've extended a bit more understanding because when women look fantastic, they look really fantastic, and it helps all of us
And they
with our
might tell
confidence.
you, Pete might,
They
they
might
might say,
say it. You
"Hey,
know what I mean?
I like this."
I tell my missus all the time on a daily basis if she's honest, I'm like, "Baby, you look great." And it gives her a little
Oh
pep and a
yeah.
step,
Yeah.
because we
No,
should
this
feel good
that's
in
what
what we're
happened with
wearing.
this woman. She was like, "Oh," but she knew. And when she looked in the
Yeah.
mirror, she was like, "Yeah, these look
Yeah.
good. Like
Yeah.
these do look good." I mean, I think that That and the whole emotional aspect with uniforms is vitally important, and I do think it does need, more focus. There was a study done in the prison service in the US. I think it was the Federal Bureau of Prisons, um, where morale was low, which is what you would expect from prisons. They've
Hard job.
such a difficult
Jesus.
job,
Yeah.
and I'm sure, it's hard to, keep morale up.
Mhm.
And then they changed the uniform to all first tactical. And then they surveyed again. And that was the only thing that had changed. I don't know what kind of controls there was in this,
Yeah.
but it was a survey. It went out after and it had significantly risen because
Definitely.
all I can take from it is that people thought, I'm important.
Mhm.
I am
Yeah.
important to these people. They're spending this money on me and giving this
Mhm.
thought to provide me with trousers that fit,
Mhm.
wash well, look good, allow me to move, don't rip, are comfortable, and looks good.
Well, it's
Because
a way to
like
show someone that you care about them. Because
yeah, and that
there
they
was always,
matter.
there's always a parent-child kind of relationship. And if you're sending your kid off to school and they're wearing the shirt that's bobbled after the first time they've washed it and it's stretching at the
Oh
sleeves
yeah,
and
it just
and
doesn't
the
look good.
trousers don't really fit him properly and his shoes are worn through and you're just like, come on, come on. Do you know what I mean? That kid can't feel like, I mean, yeah, maybe mummy and daddy are facing, financial challenges or whatever, but
Hardships, yeah.
nonetheless, if the school themselves, because
Yeah.
it's the school that usually issue the uniform, you have to go and buy it from the special shop. But the
Yeah.
school are like,
Costs a
everyone,
fortune sometimes.
yeah, well, like, oh, everyone were wearing these sort of blazers this year. And the parents are like,
Yeah.
this blazer is crap. We've washed it twice and it's bobbling already. It's coming apart at the seams.
Yeah.
It's this, it's that. Your staff really is a very similar, whether you call it, I mean, with the PPE, it's the management health and safety regulations. Yes, we have to provide you with stuff that's up to these specs and all that sort of stuff. I bet
But is
uniform.
it always?
Well,
I'm
the
not
PPE
convinced.
is and isn't always, but the
Maybe the
uniform
PPE, but
sits in that
workwear.
space. That's what I mean, where they're like,
Yeah,
I don't
it's
know how much,
underneath.
how much
But
obligation they have to give you
were the
good stuff.
decision makers told it does, and then in actual fact it didn't?
Yeah.
Or were the samples the same as what was then issued? I don't know.
I've
Because
learned through a lot of procurement models
I
that there
don't
is a
know.
lot of trickery that does go on there.
All I can speak is from
Now, I've seen
what
it.
other people are telling me.
I've seen
Yeah.
it.
So you've seen it. I'm hearing from a lot of other people. And
Yeah,
all I can
no.
speak of with any real confidence, though, is what I'm offered. And
Yeah.
because it's off the shelf and it's a standardized item, what you see is what you get. It's not going to suddenly change and it's a different thread or that it's
I
a different
related it to
design.
McDonald's when we had a provider once, and when you see the McDonald's ad or you walk into McDonald's, if you ever go to McDonald's, and
I love McDonald's,
you
but my
see you
favorite's
see
KFC.
you see the picture on the screen, and you go, "That burger looks banging." The thing that
Yeah.
comes in the box sometimes
It's
ain't looking
not.
as sharp, and
But
you know
it's
what I
still
mean?
good, though. I still
It's
love
good,
it.
but I related it to the uniform provider once. I was like, "Is this McDonald's?" And they're like,
Oh,
"What
yeah,
on about?"
I
And I was
get
like,
you.
"Well, the thing you showed me during the
It's not
trial was
exactly
great,
this.
and this ain't what arrived on station." You know
Or
what I
what
mean?
about some like fashion sites? I won't name any, but you'll know who they are. Well,
Yeah.
if you were
Oh,
a woman,
Timu
you would
looks
know.
great on the page.
Okay, okay, yeah. So you get it in and you're like, wow, what? How much is that?
That is
And then
not
it
what he
comes
is
and
wearing
you're
in
like,
that
oh,
picture.
I can see straight through it, which actually is what another fire service came to me about quite a while
Yeah.
ago, is that shirts they were still wanting, white shirts. And they were like, do you have a white cotton shirt that isn't see-through? I'm like, I do, definite. It's
Well, yeah.
substantial, feels good. And they were like, it's female fit. It's not,
Because we
we don't want
provide white
men's
shirts
fit,
to a lot of
only
our Green
female
Book
fit.
staff, a lot of our
Yeah.
non-operational staff. And with all due respect, if you can see someone's bra through their shirt,
That
how
can't be
comfortable
right.
how comfortable are they going to be in the goddamn workplace?
I know.
We
So then do they
cannot
have to
say that
wear
is
a
acceptable.
vest or a t-shirt?
Yeah.
And then it's the summertime and you're having to wear another layer, like you're
Yeah.
forced to wear
They're
it.
like, well, I
So
can't
I
take
know,
this off because I don't want everybody to see my underwear. So
no, I know.
what am I supposed
I
to be
mean,
doing?
people know though. I mean, these are things me and you're talking about. that everybody
They know
else
it.
knows about.
Yeah.
Everybody knows, but I do feel, I have to say, I feel that there is a lot of movement in the right direction. And one way I say it is because a lot more people are reaching out to me, wanting to meet, wanting to give presentations, checking if I'm going to certain shows, because they're thinking we need to get something better maybe. And I'm not saying that we're necessarily better than everybody else out there, even though probably,
I'll say
that's
that.
what I do
I'll say
believe.
that. And
But
I've tried
I mean,
most of them. And I
I
travel around
can't
all the
speak
fire
for
services seeing them.
every
And it's just like,
manufacturer, provider out there. And I think some will be doing a good job. But I think can you offer the whole package that you're given this product and you can supply it quickly? And this is a standard product. It's been tested to not fail. It won't fail. And do you have a distributor in that country who those services can go to and they can trust? They can communicate with them. They can have a good relationship. They can make sure they get supply. So I think it's all those things that you need, but there's more conversations going on. So I feel like things are moving, but they're moving at different speeds in different services. And it does come back to money again. There is the you get what you pay for thing. That is so true. But you don't actually have to spend that much more to get something
And also,
good.
is it the fact that we think in quarters?
I have been wearing Gore-Tex for nearly 2 decades on the front line, working in hostile environments, tackling challenging incidents from firefighting to water incidents and in urban search and rescue environments. Gore-Tex have a well-earned reputation for protecting professionals in the fire and emergency services through their family of highly innovative, waterproof, breathable moisture barriers that exceeds global performance standards and are trusted worldwide. Gore-Tex, going further together.
So I relate this to power, as in energy production.
Yeah.
I'm not an energy production specialist. This might be a crap analogy. But nuclear power on submarines, the submarines that have been powered by nuclear power for like 70 years. And I heard a comedian talk about it. He was like, I think it was Jimmy Carr. He was like, we've solved the energy problem, but we don't like the idea of nuclear because there's been Hiroshima and Nagasaki and we don't know what to do with it when it goes in the ground. But he was like, the problem with it is it's so expensive for the first 3 or 4 or 10 years, and then it's free for 50 years.
Yeah,
or whatever
you
it
have
is.
to bite the bullet.
You've almost got to
Just
buy
do
well,
it.
buy once. But I thought afterwards, after I had that thought, it wasn't really a like-for-like comparison because your stuff actually isn't that much more expensive. But the difference is as well, you won't have to replace it in 6 months or 4 months or 12 months. Do you know what I mean?
Well,
You're going to be giving
I mean,
somebody something that they'll wear for years.
I have a contact who's been wearing his. 2 of them are in the same service, and they were one of the first guys that I ever met with, and that's 3 years ago now, and they're wearing the same trousers, right? They conducted a study because, of course, you'll have your equipment officers and everybody, but they have to go up and, get this money and get the say-so. And they worked it out from looking at what they currently had and how often they were reissuing because of all those failures we were talking about. And they said they were able to establish that our trousers lasted 3 to 4 times longer.
That's it.
So
You've just got to
when
have
you
the maturity to look at that time horizon and go,
yeah, that's it.
what's this
In the
turnover
long
going to...
run.
Yeah.
But also, while you're there getting that long run, the staff should be in clothes they can move in. They should be feeling a little bit better. Pete, we've had people come in here, firefighters coming in here and spending their own money to buy our trousers. Now, that's at the retail price, which is because of the way we work with the fire services, and we take a really low margin on that, and we have a transparent price policy with that. For anybody walking in off the street, it's significantly more to pay as a retail person coming in. And these people are spending their own money, which is unbelievable.
I can believe them doing that with the bags and stuff, though. Because the services aren't
the
necessarily
bags
going
have always been loved.
My Christ.
They're loved all around the world
Those
too, as well. The bags, I know.
People are going to buy them themselves. They're so
They
goddamn
last
nice.
though, so you don't need to rebuy that often.
I used to get holes in the bottom of my bags in similar canvasy style tactical type bags. They'd look great to the start, and the top pockets might last. But the problem is, I'd always get holes in the bottom of it because I'm chucking it on the floor and I'm going here and I'm
just
going
wear
there.
and tear.
I've dragged this thing around because I'm clumsy as hell. I've dragged this one around. I forget what's the one. Is it the 25? Is that the 25 litre or is it 27? I can't remember what that is.
Is it one day? If it's a one day, that should be
it's a
like
one day.
31.5 litre. One day specialist, it'd be 31.5 litre.
Is I'm head over heels in love with it. I call it my go bag. So I have like a reset bag. Every time I get back from work, I'll reset the stuff that I have in it. So I have like my battery bank, I have my laptops, I have my cash, my passports and everything in there. But then I'll also have some protein bars. I'll have some creatine tablet in there. You know, everything. I've got my water bottle in it.
Chocolate for me.
Just because we're always going somewhere. We're always going somewhere in my life. Like went to Manchester with my family at the weekend and we did the blue light stair climb challenge event. And then we had socials in the evening and then we went to London the next day. And I just need to grab that bag. It doesn't matter because there's always everything in it. It's kind of like a woman's handbag, but it's better because obviously I can take it everywhere.
Women have handbags. So you just have everything.
My missus has got her stuff in it as well now because there is a pocket in there for her because she knows I've always got it with me. She doesn't. Sometimes she forgets her stuff, so I'm like, don't worry, I've got a charger for your phone. I've got your bloody special pocket. But
well, I'm that person in my relationship. I'm the one with a backpack, and I have everything in it,
baby,
for the whole family.
That's it.
Not
you need
just
it,
me.
Don't you? Parenting. I think when you become a parent, you probably start building that muscle, don't you? Because when people have their first baby, you realize you need some sort of go bag. And then I feel like the first responder community, we fold the family go bag into our tactical go bag, whereas obviously like a member of the public just has a large family bag. Even in that market, there's some absolute crap there. But anyway, I want to get back to problem first approaches. So when I came and spent some time with you and we were talking through the trials, I just want to zoom in on them for a minute. There was loads of really intricate pieces that I appreciate may not be perfect on an audio only platform, but I know people will get it because there was loads of things around some of the curvatures on the pockets, some of the placements of where things would sit on the pockets themselves, just around like common failure points. Because I think about comfort and performance, but also versus longevity, and there's always that bit on the trousers. I mean, the crotch seam is the obvious massive game changer for me personally, only because of how my body is shaped and all the challenges I've had with trousers in the past. But some of the stuff on the shaping of the pockets, I wonder if you could just talk us around some of those common failure points and how you guys have got around it.
Do you want me to get that?
Yeah, you grab one if you want to. Yeah, it makes sense.
Let's see now.
Oh, you've got one of them axes on the wall. Yes.
Yeah, just for you.
Oh God, I love them.
How cool is that?
Honestly, in fact, I'll talk about that while you're just getting them. So, whenever someone moves, I'm talking for everybody else now. If ever someone moves teams, move watches, move stations, or they're up for retirement, so many people are retiring throughout the UK Fire and Rescue Service and other services. Those axes are the most incredible gifts when someone graduates from something, and people are always like, where's a good place to get them? I must get asked once or twice a month, where's the best place to get these from? And you guys have started doing them, and they are absolutely perfect. So total segue. But anyway, we'll try and find a link or something for it afterwards. But anyway, sorry, go on.
I mean, here at because my showroom is within contact left, so they have lots of all our stuff here that they're doing and they have going on. So anybody who comes in here anyway is going to be wowed by something. Oh, you got that, and
it's
some
Aladdin's
of this
cave.
stuff. I don't know what it is. But a lot of people, they're like, whoa, that's something. I'm like, is it?
Yeah, mate.
These are the trousers, I think, that you were talking about. These are the V2 trousers. These ones are a female fit, this pair. I mean, that's probably a point where now is that a first tactical. We do, obviously, female fit is ever referred to. We have maternity pants as well, maternity polos. Because even though you're not going to be operational at that stage, you'll still be wearing a uniform. So, you should look uniform and matching to everybody else. And we do an office pant that's just kind of veered off into another life as menopause trousers, which when I
Yeah.
first got in this world, I hadn't a clue, because I was asked for menopause pants and I was like, whoa, what is this? To
Because
then
people don't
discover
want to
that
talk about that stuff. It used
it's
to be
just
taboo
straight to
subjects, didn't it?
your,
That people were
yeah,
embarrassed
oh yeah,
about. So they
yeah,
wouldn't
yeah.
want to bring it out into the space. But now we're getting more women into our organizations. They're feeling more comfortable to say,
To
here's
say,
another problem we've always had
yeah.
to get around that we didn't really talk about. And now we're
Yeah,
talking
and
about it,
all
which we
that you
should.
need
Yeah.
is more stretch in the fabric
Yeah.
and more air to be going through. I mean, none of this is like rocket science, really. But in terms of First Tactical and our design team, it's not the
It's not
first
rocket science, but
rodeo.
it depends who's in charge and who's making the decisions. Because with respect, if we've traditionally always
Yeah.
had male-dominated senior leadership teams, it's just not a conversation they're ever going to have.
No,
You know,
yeah, exactly. And if there wasn't that many females in the service
they're just
before,
not going to
that
shout
wouldn't
up.
have been being pushed.
Exactly.
There might not have
No.
been as loud a voice,
Yeah.
but now
And they've just
there
kind of dealt with
is.
it. They've just had to
Yeah.
deal with it for all them
And
years.
I'm sure people still are now, and for some
Hmm.
women, it won't be as big an issue. But when it is an issue, well, we can help. But this
Absolutely.
is our V2 trouser. That's our bestseller in the world for a First Tactical. Is our best selling pant. In terms of fire services within the UK, this is it Navy V2 pant, but not exclusively. We have services wearing the A2 pant. And we've got a Pro Duty uniform pant, which is exactly the same fabric, but a different style as a more traditional look.
Hmm.
We've talked about this traditional look, however, made with this fabric.
Okay.
So you still got that technical functionality, but with a more traditional aesthetic. But this is the V2 and a lot veer from that. So I'll just talk you through this one. So the fabric is a 65-35 poly cotton blend. That's polyester and cotton. You don't know if you'll be able to see here, but it does have a 2 mil ripstop, which is a lot smaller than traditionally we would have been looking at a 10 or 12 mil ripstop. This is a 2 mil ripstop. So that gives
Go
you,
deeper on that, because that is the bit when I was talking about putting the knives in and out of my pockets and putting stuff in and out
yeah,
of it. I don't fully understand, even though you have gone through it with me. The
yeah.
ripstop thing, how far those distances are apart is to do with how easy it is, obviously, to rip and catch and start to thread that fabric, isn't it?
Exactly, that's what it is. So the smaller it is, the stronger it's going to be.
Yeah.
So this is a 2 mil ripstop. So when you're looking at a fabric and you see like tiny little squares,
Yeah.
that's a ripstop fabric. So the smaller the ripstop, the stronger that's going to
Yeah.
be. And then of course you got your fabric blend in terms of what kind of durability that's going to give you as well. And just the count and the weight of the fabric as well
Hmm.
in terms
Hmm.
of the
Yep.
durability that you're going to have there as well. It's also double dyed. We dye at the fiber stage and then again at the fabric stage. So that just means the color retention is high on these.
Yeah.
It's
Because
got a
that's a common
built-in.
one. It will start to fade after the first 10
Yeah, and
washes.
then they don't look uniform.
And
And do
everyone's
you ever
got
see those
to you can
ones?
almost see how so long someone's been in because of how
How
faded
long?
their stuff is.
And do you ever see the ones that start to look purple?
Yeah,
I
it's
mean,
got
I don't
weird.
know what that is.
And then
How
you
you
think
can
something's
have
wrong with your eyes.
navy that looks purple. And then, I mean, you guys mostly wear navy, but some wear black.
Yeah.
But then I seen black trousers that then look navy. And so
Mhm.
that's even more confusing about who's wearing what colour. But that's not just the fire service. I see that a lot in policing as well,
Yeah.
but not with First Tactical, obviously. So you've got straight here as well. That's built in the fabric. Our stretch is horizontal, not vertical. It's two-way mechanical stretch so that you can have the comfort,
Mhm.
but not where these pockets and hems are going to dip. Just like when you had that heavy item in your pocket, that wasn't going to like be hanging away down here
Yes.
because that's affecting your ability to move and everything
Yeah.
as well. If you've got things in these pockets, you're carrying all our equipment, that all affects your agility. So you've got that stretch. You can expect a stretch for about an inch and a half across. And when you actually pull these, you'll know personally. But for
Mhm.
all our people, you probably see that mood in there. So that's that stretch. And it's coated in DWR, so any spillages will bead up and roll off. So they'll stay looking clean throughout the day and comfortable. But they're moisture wicking on the underside so that like you were saying, when you were wearing these and you were wearing them to death and you were sweating, but then they would dry off again because it's that moisture
Well, I could
wicking
actually I
into
would
the
just,
skin.
because I was wearing them, they were getting dirty. I could just bucket a sponge on them. And they weren't getting soaking wet. And it was sort of weird because it was something between
You're
a
like, what's happening?
it felt like, because I've got some trousers that I bought for hiking years ago that are like full waterproof. And then you could like wash them off with a hose. Obviously, I wouldn't do that to those trousers, but you could sponge them off and they dry almost immediately. Do you know what I mean?
And
It's
then
not
you're
like
able to
I'm
go.
wearing a heavy wet cotton for ages and it starts to go different colours. I would just wipe them off.
It's a good job you had these, wasn't it?
Mate, it would have been a goddamn nightmare if I'd have worn anything else, to be honest with you.
There you go. Then another point is what I'm moving on to now, because he's just brought something else up to me, is like your trims. So zips, this is a YKK lock and zipper. This is the point of failure that I'm told in a lot of pants, the zip going. Even some what would be seen as reputable brands. Uh sometimes you can maybe change what zips you're using or the size of the zip, but this is a lock and YKK zip. This won't fail, and when this pull is down, that's locked in.
Yeah.
So no
Well, a lot of
matter what
services
size
end up
change.
having like an internal service that specific just replaces zips because that's
Oh wow.
such a common
But
failure
then you
point.
have to pay for that. I
Yeah, but
mean,
it's
these
easier than
things
them
are
asking for a whole
crazy.
new pair of trousers. It's cheaper for them to just end up
I can
replacing the
see.
zip.
Or
They
cheaper
start
to
getting
have
around.
first tactical, and then they
They end
don't
up doing a
wreck.
get around for a bang average product rather than just getting a good one to start with.
Yes, totally. Then we have pop stud, backup button fly. So the message we're given here is once these are on, they're going to stay on. All right, these are going to be secure once you got them on. Then on the belt loops, you got 7 belt loops. They're bar tacked 4 times. There's 67 stitches in this one little area here. That is designed to make this durable. These are designed to take abuse.
I was going to
Get
say, I
your
clip my
belt in
water
and
bottle
out
to
there
them.
dragging
Yeah,
it,
heavy ass, water bottle. I'll clip onto
and
them,
it's
and it
cool.
holds. Yeah.
That's it. It's not going to give because it's these design features. Our designers have years and years of experience of tactical wear design. These people have been in this business for a long, long time. First Tactical is a younger company, been going, this is our 10th year. But prior to that, the design team had come from another brand.
Well, we're
So,
benefiting from all of the military stuff, really. I think a lot of that has trickled down, and it's a bit like in cars when you see new stuff in Formula One. In about 10 years, you'll see that in the cars that are on the road, and like you see
yeah,
certain brands have got way better stuff in their cars, and it's similar
and
with
it'll
First
feed
Tactical.
through.
You've designed like those belt loops, for example. That's designed for tactical operators in the field originally, who would anything they clip onto themselves is heavy. So they can't
Yeah.
afford to have it all ripped off. And now we get that benefit just a few years later.
And we've got another pair of trousers that may be used that are, we have some contracts in the UK for the firearms, so that's in the police. And there's 3 of the belt loops and those that are reinforced even further.
Wow.
They've got nylon webbing in them and they're riveted into the seam so that
Nice.
could be used if you needed it as like an escape harness and that type of situation. So
Yeah.
that's on a whole nother level that, the average person does not need that. But that design is out there and, it is there for somebody that
Well, because
needs
I've
it.
seen people when they do simulations and they have like a colleague that's downed, they will grab them by the belt and or belt loop and drag the person.
Yeah. And so that needs to work.
Yeah, and you can't just rip the pants off them. You know what I mean?
No, I know. Mind you, if your life depended on it, as long as you were saved. So that's the belt loop. You were mentioning pockets. So this is our slash pocket here. So this is your high traffic pocket here. So this is the one that takes a lot of abuse. So we've got cordura lining on the inside because you're in and out. You
First
might be
thing,
in
you
and out
always
there with
punch a hole in the bottom of,
keys and
otherwise.
yeah. So these will last longer than that. They won't fail you. And then we've got a loop here, a little lanyard loop for attaching
I click my
keys or
keys in the top
something
of it.
like that.
Otherwise, you
Yeah.
lose them in the bottom of your pocket.
Yeah, and it's abusing the pocket, isn't it? But if it's up here and it's attached onto that, it's not putting that extra weight down. This pocket is designed to carry a magazine, but if you're not armed and that's not what you need to put on there, it's a good size for your phone or similar size equipment, so that can still be utilized. when I'm doing the shows, I put my business cards on there because it's just the perfect little size, easy to get to. One side
I
is
put
like
my
you
ID
saying
card
about
in it
being
because I don't like it
organized. Yeah.
clipping on the front of my top, so I slide it in there
Well,
all the time.
that's it. It's a good size. So I've got one as the cards going out, and then on the other side, I have the cards coming in. People are giving me, and it's
You
like you're
should
saying
carry a
about
warrant
being
card all of the
functional.
time with you, but I hate having it clipped onto the front of me, waving around. But you have to have. You should
Yeah.
all fire officers should have a warrant card on them all the time. So I always just slip it in there, otherwise I won't forget it.
Yeah, and then you know where it is, like you're
It's always
saying
there.
about being
Yeah.
organized. They've got a little part here for a pen, so you can have your pen on or a knife and clipped on here, so it's secure, not wiggling around, and you know where it is. This is our cargo pocket. As you can see here, get a little bit closer. The gusset is on the bottom, and that's on purpose so that there's no snags in the forward moving position here. And aesthetically, so it looks neat, clean, and professional. That's what we aim to do at First Tacticals. We are making workwear for people like yourself. And we were talking about the importance of uniform. And so, neat, clean, and professional is what we go for. Not latest trends or anything else, but functionality, comfort, neat, clean, and professional. So you can do the job, look good doing it, and hopefully feel good because you've got that comfort.
You
So
know, just
gussets
sorry,
at
you
the
said about
bottom.
that gusset that stops the forward
Yeah.
movement. I just wanted to expand on that because when I think either you or David told me about it, it was like, I mean, I know it came from Tactical Origins because when you have that gusset open up on the side, like you say, when you're moving down a corridor or anything, it just catches, it just
So
snags
easily.
and flaps and stuff. And equally, it starts to almost prolapse and open out. And then over
Yeah.
time, it just sags when you have that gusset in the
And then
middle
the
of it.
pockets can't open,
And the
isn't
pockets,
it? And
yeah,
then
the
and it
pocket
looks
starts to
kind
hang
of
open and then it starts to pull down on the Velcro top. And then the top of the pocket doesn't close anymore.
and your eye's drawn to it, isn't
Yeah.
it? If
It's a
somebody's
weird
wearing a
baggy
pair of
bulge out the
cargos
side.
with,
Yeah.
with a pocket like that, you look at it, I've got some just old trousers combats that I've had for years and years and years, gym type stuff. And then the pockets again now I'm like, oh, that looks awful,
It looks terrible,
because
doesn't it?
now I'm used to these like clean lines that
Yeah.
we have on here. So we're up for reinforcement as well and wanting things to last. Hence here on the side of this pocket, that's reinforced so that this keeps this nice clean line and doesn't start looking all, wrinkly. And down here, so this doesn't go dog-eared. Now on your cargo pocket,
That
we've got
lack of
miter.
dog earring on the side, I think, is
I
a bigger
know.
point than people think because that's the first thing that starts to curl up and look rubbish.
And it happens in polos
Yep.
as well, which
Yep.
is we have little collar stays in ours so they don't do it. But it's that neat, clean, professional. It's a uniform. It doesn't have to feel like a uniform, but it should look neat,
Yeah.
clean, and professional. Now, this is designed that can stay up. That is rigid enough to stay up for you to use that as a dump pouch if you needed to. So you've got two dividers on the inside here,
Yeah. I
which
love
you know
those.
of.
Yeah.
Okay. So you can have your equipment in there exactly where you need it. You can get there quickly. You could be working your in and out of that pocket. You could have that up like that. Or you can tuck it in and utilize it like that.
I
And that will
have
stay.
torch in one side of that and I have notepad in the back. Those
And
two are
that's you
perfect.
then,
Because also you
ready to
don't,
go.
anytime you put anything else in your pocket, you don't want it scrumping up your notepad. Otherwise your notepad only lasts about 2 weeks because everything else you put in that pocket goes straight on top of the notepad and just just rips the pages, curls
and
the
then
corners.
that's
That stays nice
destroyed.
and flat.
Yeah. And you've got another lanyard lift if you needed that. Double layer at the knee for a knee pad. Inside entry for the knee pad. The knee pad's cut to the same
That's
shape.
great for instructors, because I know I got a pair of knee pads from you guys, and what we end up having to do is get some big, lesser comfortable product and wrap it over the top. But these ones, you can just slip a smaller one inside. And then when you're trying to show students, whether it's in the classroom or that class, because instructors have to do it way more than anybody else because you're constantly showing people. So those inner, because it's inside as well, isn't it? You don't have it sticking on the outside. You put it in from the inside.
So it's on from the inside.
Yeah.
On our Defender pants that are the ones that firearms units are wearing, they're outside entry and they've got extra reinforcement on it. But that's much more heavy duty
That's
on
not
the knee.
necessary for us. Yeah.
Yeah, you would have enough from this. And our pads are very lightweight and breathable. So even if you're putting them in the morning, they're not going to cause you an issue throughout the day because they're so lightweight and breathable. We've got portholes here on the hem that if you want to put blouse and straps in and tighten those up, because I know maybe if you're out in some kind of brush, you're worried about
I just always
bugs and
prefer
everything
having
like
it in.
that.
I know a lot of services prefer whatever the different type is where you don't have it hemmed at the bottom, where they like it to sit over the top of the boot. I hate it. I always prefer them having tight in at the ankle. I don't know why, but
a lot of the ladies that I know that come on here that are doing search and rescue and they go out working with the dogs, they always tighten up on the hem because they're saying where they're going, everything, you want everything tight, secure, and nothing else getting in.
It is beyond a privilege to be able to bring the Firefights podcast to you, and we are so grateful for every single person that supports, listens, shares, and follows our journey. And to help us keep doing it, create more, reach more guests internationally, and make the podcast sustainable, we're asking for you to help. And to do this, we've set up a Patreon page. By joining our Patreon community, you will get access to every single full episode archive we have ever made. Now, hundreds and hundreds of key documents that we've got in there on fire behavior, firefighter health, cancer risks, incident debriefs, and so much more. So if you feel like you want to join the Patreon crew and help us make this possible, head to patreon.com/TFFPC or check the link in any episode podcast notes.
And we've got, speaking of gussets, we've got a knee-to-knee running gusset.
Yeah.
So anybody wearing these can jump over that wall that we were talking about. This extra piece of fabric running from knee to knee gives you that movability. I mean, this person could be doing the splits, as you can see, and then give out a good pull.
Well, the video that would have already gone out by the time this episode comes out, the video that you guys did is absolutely. I'm sure it was David and Sean that probably thought about it, but you probably thought, I don't know if this is going to be good or not. Honestly, that is a great piece of content because no other product would dare do that because it would not work. It would never. So for people that haven't seen it, you can go back and find it. They literally tow a car with it. They tie both ends of the trouser, same pair of trousers that Claire's holding there, and they tow a car with it. And it's not a bloody small car. I imagine it's one of your cars. It's like a 4x4, I think.
It's Sean's car. It's Dave was towing Sean's car, so it's an Audi something or other.
Yeah, it's not a cheap car. It's a nice car.
Yeah, I'd say it's got a bit of weight on it.
Definitely, and it absolutely holds.
And it did it.
And that was
there you go.
No one would dare do that.
And that's us back to what we were talking about earlier about quality and fit for purpose. Now, people come in here and they're doing all that crouching down and everything. This is what they're testing. Is it going to split in that seam? Well, this won't. This will last. And along the back, this is your other failure point. So we've got triple needle stitching here and on all the main seams, so these are not going to split on you. And our pockets at the back here, and you probably can't see, but that's got reinforcement as well, so it keeps that clean line. So there is a lot of thought going in to the uniform aspect. So for, the personnel out there that are worried about looking uniform and not looking too casual, because you are working as a team in a public service, that's really close to our heart too, that neat, clean and professional. And like I say, we have a variant of these, the Pro Duty uniform pants, same fabric, but without the pockets. Just a more traditional trouser aesthetic. So you still have all the benefits of the pocket. You have the knee-to-knee run gusset. They're not going to split. The fabric will stretch. The fabric will hold the colour. You've got all those same aspects, but it looks like a traditional pant. So if somebody was wearing these and then somebody else had the V2, because it's the fabric's called V2, the Pro Duty uniform pants, they're still going to look uniform because it's the same fabric. Exactly the same fabric that they're being used on. So that runs throughout a lot of the design thoughts going through all of our range is using the same fabrics that complement each other, but maybe just using a different weight. So you want a different weight in your shirt than you would in your trousers, obviously, but you want all those same features again, and you want it to match the trousers because it's a uniform.
I think
this is the V2.
Yeah. I think it's
saved your life, Pete.
Mate, honestly, well, I wouldn't travel without
I'm
them
not
now.
a female fit, but you know.
Yeah, no, I've got them in the blue and the black, so that's what I love most about them. I wanted to. I know we spoke about the bags a little bit earlier, and I know this isn't necessarily one of the main core elements of what you guys do, but I think this is starting to become a really neglected area of equipping first responders. Because actually, I know you guys do a lot of the trauma kit bags as well, which
Oh
again,
yeah.
these ones are really made to last. But providing some way for first responders to get these through their services. I don't know whether it involved the services getting a batch of themselves, whether it's probably most likely the single days, when you took at the 25s or the 36 litre 1-day packs. But even when you guys have got an Ascender Messenger one that I really, really love the look at. And they're exactly the sort of thing that I know almost every officer in the UK has ended up going out and buying their own version of this out of their own pocket. And I actually think it's one
Yeah.
of the points that we're not really addressing and I know it's not necessarily an area of your specialism. I imagine it's more sort of David or Sean's field. I'm not sure, but it was something that I wanted to bring up because I don't know
Yeah.
why we're not providing people options for these in services. People just end up, or I don't know if services are just going to bloody IKEA or wherever and just getting some crap rucksack that's got a laptop
And
slot in
sticking
it, and
things
then
in.
going,
Yeah.
yeah, that'll do ya. But that is
Yeah.
part of the
I mean,
person's kit when they're coming out with
yeah,
it.
so it's just as important, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because it's a tool. And
But they have
like
to
you're
walk in
saying about,
every building with it when they're traveling on different services and traveling on
yeah,
and off stations and all this sort of stuff. And it just looks rubbish half the time when you see them walking in with this
yeah.
thing
And if
that's
it's not
falling apart.
durable,
Well, they end up
then it
just
won't
buying their own.
last.
They end up just buying their own,
Yeah,
is what
and
they end up
I
doing.
know, and that does happen in all our services as
Mhm,
well, not just the fire service. You do get that happening, but I
mhm,
suppose it really shouldn't. No, we do a lot of business and bags and all over the world as
mhm.
well. I mean, our backpacks are renowned, and we have got some distributors who are just mad for backpacks, and they just absolutely fly out. They sell themselves. And like you were saying, they come in the three different sizes. They're two different styles. We have a specialist backpack, we have a tactics backpack, and then they each come in three different sizes, four different colors. We also have patrol bags, range bags. We've got rifle sleeves. We've got all different types and styles of bags. And I think it might be is it the Summit Side Satchel? I think that you might have looked at one stage as
Mm,
well. And
yeah,
that is
that hugs
loved
the body
by
really nicely.
many in
Yeah,
all sorts of
that's nice.
jobs because of it has got that slot for
Mhm.
tablet, laptop, as do all of the backpacks. The
We're carrying
backpacks
that much
also,
IT these days. Honestly,
you have to have
we're
it.
a walking office. Some of
Yeah,
us,
you
me
have to have
especially.
it.
Do you know what I mean?
Oh, I
I'll
can
have a tablet,
imagine,
I'll have a
yeah.
laptop, I'll have bloody microphones with me, I'll have at least one or two phones, a couple of battery banks.
Camera,
God
everything.
forbid I actually catch fire myself. I'll be a bloody lithium ion nightmare. It's not. Yeah, it's not a
No,
joke.
I know. So we have all that, but when you're
Yeah.
saying about like different kit bags as well, we have an EMT bag,
Mm.
which is a great big box bag that's but that's more specifically designed for paramedics,
Yeah, but
really.
do you know what we're giving
Yeah.
people now in a lot of the organisations that I go to? We're giving them massive plastic boxes to transport their
Oh,
kit in.
right. Which is going to be really bad for
Well,
your
everyone's
body and
scratching
how
their
you're
cars
carrying
for
yourself
starters.
and
They're scratching their
oh,
cars. The boxes are too big, and I don't know why they've done it. I imagine. Well, actually, I kind of do know. They're easy to store. So when you
yeah.
get two places and
Yeah.
you're not using them, you just stack them on top of each other and they store very nicely. And I appreciate they've got a multi-purpose if you then want to start storing files in them or whatever, whatever. But
Yeah,
all of
but
our new
maybe there's a
recruits,
better way.
there's definitely a better way. All of our new
Yeah,
recruits, we'll end up
yeah,
giving them a massive box and we'll tell them, put all of this stuff, all your brand new uniform, all your fire kit, everything, just put it in this massive box. And then they just fumble around with it, banging into walls, scratching their own cars. And I'm like, why don't, because I've got one of yours. I've also got a really old one from a different company that I carry my fire gear around all the time because I do the pink firefighter stuff and I do various other things.
Yeah.
And you can shoulder those bags. You can chuck them straight on you like a big rucksack as well. And it's just so much more effective for any kind of transportation of all of your kit.
Yeah.
Plus, it keeps all the contaminant closed inside them as well, so it's not stinking out your car or anything like this. But yeah, I just
Well,
think it's one of those things that no one's really given enough time and thought to.
I mean, our EMT jump bag is basically like a big box,
Mm.
but cleaner than just a big box,
Mhm.
easier to cover, easier to carry, padded. And the
Mm.
way we have the strap on it is
Mhm. Yeah, I
designed
know.
that, it is not, you're not going to be
No,
walking like
no.
that and ending up with back problems. So
Mhm.
it's all those design features. But we've got, aside from the clothes, which is the main thing, we have our boots, we have our
Mhm.
gloves. I mean, into the fire service, I'm not, the main thing is those trousers I just
Uniform, yeah.
showed you. But we're selling like a lot of other stuff.
Mm.
The backpacks, the one day, same one that you have in the black,
Mm.
gloves, we're selling a lot of them.
Mm.
And then like
Well, you do everything. You
CL.
do the rank markings, you do all sorts of stuff,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, here at CL they do that. They manufacture things bespoke here in CL.
Mm.
And on the clothing aspect, because we have a manufacturing base here, CL, so that's our distributor. They a UK distributor for First Tactical. They do manufacture their own bespoke bits of kit for the fire service too. So that's a whole different venture. But and a complimentary side
It's
to
like
First
Santa's grotto
Tactical.
when I've been there.
Yeah, but
It is like
we've
Santa's
got
grotto.
the
There's
machinists here who
such
can
cool
like
stuff.
adjust stuff on hand.
Yeah, I know.
If
They're
you're a
great.
specific fit, but it needs to be a little bit smaller here, they can do that.
Yeah.
I've had a few. I mean, this work because these ladies were local. I had a pregnant lady come in and she was getting bigger, but you would have been hard pressed to know that she was pregnant, in all
Mhm.
honesty. So, our maternity trousers, which are designed to fit over the bump, she wasn't there yet.
Mhm.
She hadn't got a pronounced
Yeah.
bump. So, what we did is we just sized her up in a pair of our drawers where we knew she had room, and then we were able to fit adjusters on the side so that she could be wearing these for another month or two until she suddenly popped out, and then she could wear maternity pants then. So I mean, like you say about Santa's Grotto, and I'm like, I don't know what some of this stuff is. With the First Tactical stuff, I know what it is and I know what we're doing, but like you mentioned, Sean, Dave, and everyone else,
Yeah.
they're experts in all that other stuff that we
Oh, yeah.
do. But I suppose the good thing and what we're talking about, you can have two good brands, but who do you want to work with?
Mhm.
Do you want to work
That
with a person
relationship bit,
maybe
that
you
bit's
trust that
massive.
person, or that actually they can sort you out if something goes wrong.
Mhm.
They've got this that you could have as well. They can adjust that for you. They can get you that kit in quick
Mhm.
because they
Mhm.
don't have to just wait for that coming by sea.
Mhm.
They can have that flown in from that massive warehouse in California in a couple of days. It's all that, looking at that bigger picture. And I think that's why I am, busy.
I know,
I'm
it took us
busy.
a while to get us
You
booked
know,
in.
People want to see the First Tactical kit because,
So they
people
should.
like yourself, other people
Oh,
wearing
mate,
it, they're
it's
like,
banging.
this isn't like what we
Yeah.
had before, so let's try something else. Now, I'm not saying this is the be all and end all. Well, for my job, that is what I
Yeah.
say. This is it. But, like, honestly, from people that I know in my own personal life who wear all our brands,
Uh,
they like it. My sister does not have a job. Well, she's retired now, but she's an engineer in the past, a chemical engineer, but like mad for walking, dead into fitness, that type of person. And she had one of our pairs of trousers, as you do, like, get these on, try these on. She's got a lovely figure and everything. Get these on, maybe get some nice photos in the mountain or something. I'm always thinking about
yeah.
what can I get where.
Yeah.
And that was years ago, right?
Yeah.
And we were sitting a couple of weeks back and she just suddenly come up in conversation and she said, do you know, they are my go-to walking trousers. And I was like, really? Are they? And she was talking me through all the bits. Oh yeah, I really like this bit and I really like that bit. And you'd think I'd just give her the presentation. Those were the Defender pants, the ones the
Total
firearms
total
wear.
transparency. There's not many because of the weird, random, strange position that I've got myself into in this stuff that I do and the places I get invited to, which is a weird, and I never quite get comfortable with it. I get given a lot of stuff. I get offered a lot of stuff, and I end up throwing a lot of stuff away. because
Oh.
obviously that all has to come home. And then my missus is like, where's this going? What is this? So I do have to get really brutal. And it's an embarrassing privilege to an extent, because you're getting given lots of offered stuff and bags and clothes and tops and trousers and shoes and boots and this and that and God knows how many helmets I've got. I keep this stuff. The first tactical stuff is the stuff that I've actually kept and that I've actually worn.
Yeah.
Lots of other brands I've just had to go, oh yeah, like I really appreciate that, and it was good to meet you at the show. I've not worn it. I've not really worn it. Either the situation's not really lent itself to it, or mostly at the time I just kind of trying to avoid those conversations, to be honest, because I'm like,
I know it's
it wasn't very
uncomfortable.
good. It wasn't very good. I
Yeah.
get it's your thing, and like I know you've invested heavily in this business, and it's your big thing, and that's the punt you take in. But it's just unfortunate for you that you just went in the wrong direction, because I end up now just wearing my first tacticals everywhere. When it
Yeah.
certainly comes to the trousers and the shirts and the bags, and I think that's the greatest testimony of it. Because if you only had one option and you rant and rave about that option, then it's not really a fair test. But like for me, I
Yeah.
accidentally just get given a lot of different stuff and a lot
So
of
you
different
try
options.
it.
So I try them all. I definitely try them all, because I don't care. Like my metric, the
And you've
podcast
been
thing is
given
not,
it,
this is
so
not my main job. I don't earn any money from
no.
doing this. It gets me some nice trips, but I don't need to rely on anyone to pay my bills. The fire service does that. I do my job in the fire
Yeah.
service. So this
It's not
stuff,
your paid
I'm
job.
so like, I know it's only a tiny thing in the grand scheme of the world, but I'm so protective over it. And we will not under any goddamn circumstances. I don't care if bloody Adidas turned around, or whoever, just some random product that I don't necessarily, because I don't really wear Adidas products. Like if they turned around to us tomorrow and said, oh, we'll give you £1 million to do this, I wouldn't be interested in it, because over the long term, over the 500, 600, 700 episodes that we'll end up doing, thousands probably, I don't want to have looked like a sellout in anything I've ever done, because it's my name on it. Just being
Yeah.
selfish for a
No,
second. This is my
totally.
name on it.
Yeah.
It's my name on it. So I'm not going to say this is the best widget from Widget Town if it's not.
Yeah, because you have to
You have to protect the brand. Yeah, you have to protect it.
integrity.
Otherwise, your
You
word means
are
nothing.
the brand.
Your word means
Yeah.
nothing. Yeah, as
Yeah,
soon as you
that's
sell it
it.
out and someone tries it and they go, that's crap, Pete, then you've lost. I want
Will
someone
they ever listen to
pick,
anything else you
you
say?
bullshit. You're a sellout. Do you know
No.
what I mean? I want
Yeah.
them to pick it up and go, that's bloody great. Do you know what I mean? That
Yeah.
is absolutely great. And this
I mean,
stuff is great.
that's like what I'm saying. I mean, I know how good our stuff is, and I know
Yeah.
there are other brands that are good as well. But it's like looking at the whole picture, isn't it? I mean, I think for the fire service when they're trialing stuff, right? I think that, as a base, you should have a certain level of quality, right? And you should have an expectation that you will get your supply in X amount of time. That should be a basic, and that's not always there. Then, after that, let's say you had 4 you were trialing, they all had that. Then you're looking at other things. You're looking at the color, you're looking at the fit, you're looking at it more emotionally. Has it got the traditional look you want, or does it have the pockets you want, or what are the females saying about them? You look into other things. You look at, right, which company is better to communicate with,
Oh, yeah.
easier to work with. You're looking at all our things like that. But as a base, you should have supply and quality. But I don't think in some instances that's even
No, mate.
there.
Because I think
it
when
is.
it's
Some
done
services are
badly,
happy. So some are happy. It's not a whole,
I know it's not everywhere, but when I have
No.
seen it happen badly, when bad relationships have begun with certain providers in procurement models, it's done, in my personal opinion, when the person in charge of it and or the senior leader at the time is getting a thing for someone other than them. And sometimes they're like, I'm never going to be a firefighter again. So I don't really care. And you'll get what you're given and you'll do it, because it's not going to affect them. And they'll be able to save that money and spend it on the massive big training center instead. Or they'll be able to support the new EDI project, or they'll be able to,
But they're not,
whatever.
though. but they're not saving it because they're having to reissue it again and again and again. And
No,
each
I'm
time
only
you
here for 2
reissue
years,
it,
Claire. That's someone else's
you
problem. That's
but
someone
you have
else's
to
problem.
buy them chargers have
No,
to be
that'll be the
bought
next
again and
chief
again.
fire officer's problem. I don't care about that. That's
It's
not my
more buy
problem.
cheap, buy twice. It's more expensive to have poor quality trousers, isn't
I
it?
know, I know.
But it goes with what you're saying. If that person isn't going to be
And
there
that's not
anymore,
commonplace, but it does still happen in some places. In my
I'm sure it does.
personal experiences, it does happen, and I've seen
I
it.
mean, the people that I see, but then again, you have to factor in why are people talking to me? Maybe it's somebody who's wanting to change anyway, isn't it? Or maybe somebody a bit more forward thinking. But
I think it's
what I'm
younger. It's
getting,
not necessarily younger. Sounds harsh, but it's more forward-thinking people or people that
yeah,
have got a couple years left. Sometimes you get senior leaders and or people in procurement roles, and they wanted that job because sometimes,
yeah,
total honesty, some people get put in appliances, equipment, stores, procurement places, and it wasn't the job they were looking for. They wanted the
and
operational
they're
job,
just in it.
and they're just in it. They don't really know much about it. They're not really that bothered. And it's a stepping stone up the ladder of progression
Mm.
before they become a deputy
And
commissioner or something.
that's it. I mean, people are doing their own thing. They've got their own career. My experience though, and a lot of people I talk to, they do want to change.
That's what I mean. When you
Those
get someone in there
equipment
that's passionate
officers,
about it, it's
they want
great.
to change because
Yeah.
they're the people who are getting hounded about,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
these are split
I'm on
again.
50
And then,
emails a day saying my trousers are rubbish.
this officer is then having to order it, right? They're having to get that submitted. Then they're checking it off when it comes
Mhm.
on. This is more work for everybody. So, I mean, I find that the hardest pushers are the guys closer to the ground who are actually divvying out those trousers. They're like, this is not good. We need something better.
Yeah.
And then the louder their shout, it goes up and up and
Yes.
up and up. And then, but I do think that the guys at the top have their ears open just because
It's getting
of email.
better because there's
Because
so
of
much.
conversations I'm having
There's
just
so much
directly with
progression.
people
Yeah.
that they know. They're like, hey, there's a problem that even if it's not a massive problem that needs fixed, it's something that could be easily enhanced.
But
So,
it's
like
also
you
it's a
say,
problem you face
why
every
not?
day. If you've got a really bad piece of equipment that you only use once a month, you'll kind of go, well, we don't get many of these
Okay,
bad
yeah, it's a
reports
bit of a
in. It's
nuisance,
not
but
perfect. But people having rubbish uniform is a behavioral friction they are having to confront every single goddamn day because they're putting it on
yeah,
every day and
yeah.
they're going, God, I hate these trousers.
And
Do you know what I
imagine
mean?
how that much feel
Yeah.
every day.
Yeah.
And you're going out there, and I mean, I'm not being funny, but people do look at the fire service. I mean, I do because I'm just checking out what are they wearing? Where do they look like they're from?
Yeah,
Not
no.
like that in Tesco's. Oh, he looks like
Yeah.
he's from. What's
But
he
it
wearing?
is when
But
we walk
people
into
do look at
Tesco's
the
or we go
fire
into a school
service.
or we go into a
People look
business.
at you.
Yeah.
They're judging you.
Yeah.
They are making a judgment. I'm making a different kind of judgment relating to my job, but other people are just, oh, doesn't he look smart? Or,
We
oh,
are the
it's a bit
physical manifestation
tatty.
of their idea of a first responder. They may have never seen a
Yeah, a
firefighter before.
lifesaver.
Yeah.
You're the hero.
Yeah.
The little kids, oh, that's a firefighter. And then you'll see the fire truck sometimes
That's it.
parked, especially in the Tesco's near us. So
Yeah.
so I see, like in what we were speaking about earlier, about, that representation of how you look.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean, like you said, Pete, that you have to give up comfort. You can have both. In this day and age, with how far we've come with designs and fabrics, we don't need to
Don't need to
be
tolerate it.
uncomfortable, or we don't need to accept quality that is poor. I think you can accept quality that is okay if the price matches your budget. I think that always you have to be like that. Personally, I would want everybody to
good
wear
stuff.
First Tactical, right? But I live in the real world as well, and I know that it won't be right all the time. But I do think that we have good kit that we can supply and that we can tick a lot of boxes. Well, I know it because when people buy it, they rebuy it again and again and again. But I think in terms of for a fire service that's looking to change things up, I'd be saying get out, try things, wear things, I'm a salesperson, and there's lots of us about working for different brands, and always the standpoint is going to be this kid is good, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I say this and I'm presenting to people. Obviously, this is what I'm going to say. It's true, but you need to wear it till
Try
you know,
yourself. Yeah.
but not wear it for a week.
No.
Hammer these for a long time,
Yeah.
and then come back and tell me. There's a fire service I work with who've been wearing these now. They moved from stuff that was a poor quality to us, and they've been surveying the people. I love to say about a good survey.
Yeah,
And the
baby.
result that come back, that overall out of 10, in terms of their feelings of those trousers that I just showed you, that they were 9.3%. That was the average for how happy people were out of 10, 9.3. And
Can't ask for much more than that, yeah.
for comfort, 9.7. I mean, that's
Yeah.
pretty good, isn't it? But I mean, you
Banging.
can't, women, I'm sure you'd have some knowledge as well, Pete. Women could maybe be a bit more fixated
They've
on
got a higher
fit.
standard. They've got a higher
Yeah,
standard.
and they will
They know what good fit
express
feels like. Yeah.
and will express what they think. And so
So they
it's
should.
good to get out there and ask people, but you can't please everybody. Like I said, when I had the female on here in the centre with different sizes, every woman wants a different fit, right? Some will want it nice and neat and lifting on the back, and that's it, and it gives them confidence and they like that. And because our trousers stretch, that's fine. Other people don't want anything figure hugging. So,
Mhm.
We wouldn't, get up here and say, that's your size and you wear
Yeah.
that. You tell me which one you like. And I
Mhm.
still come across women who prefer, not many, but some who have normally been in the job a long time and have always worn men's, and that's what they want to stick with, men's fit.
Fair
They
enough.
still prefer ours, but I'll always say, try them on. And I
Yeah.
had one lady who was like nearly an whole argument about, I'm not trying them on. I'm a such in the male's fit. Just get me them, which I did. And I said, right, but do me a favor. Would you just try them on and just give me your feedback as somebody who always wears men's?
Yeah.
And then she apologized and said, you were right. These are
There you go,
better.
baby.
And I was like, yeah,
It's so
these
hard
are
to
great.
rip people away from those sorts of things. But
Because
yeah, they've
they
got to try it.
fit, because
Yeah.
let's face it, you and me have different bodies. That is it. Men and women, we are biologically different.
Yes.
That's just a fact,
Mhm.
right? So something that looks good on you and fits you good isn't going to work for me.
It's enormously
know.
unlikely it's going to fit well
So,
on you.
and there ain't no way you're getting onto any of my clothes, Pete. Come on. There ain't no way.
It's worth
But
a
of course, that's just a size thing, right? But
Yeah.
shaping
Oh,
aside,
God,
men and
yeah,
women
of
are very
course.
different shapes. So we need different clothes.
Yeah. You guys and girls, I was sort of alluded to earlier, you've seen this now across loads of different countries, loads of different services in and around the UK. Where do you really, if you put your finger on the pulse, think the UK sits when it comes to uniform performance now?
I think, like I said earlier, it's still kind of varied across the UK because what the fire services are wearing, each one is different. I think it's moving in the right direction just because of some of the conversations that I'm having. What I'm hearing again, again, again is I want quality. Not, I'm totally focused on price, which I think would have been the case a couple of years ago.
Yep.
I think that the conversations are changing and it's much more about the quality, the longevity, how it feels on the person, the functionality of it, how comfortable it is. Are you getting value for like your workforce? Are you putting them in clothes where they can actually do the job? I think we are moving in that direction. We're definitely going in that direction and not back. There's definitely, from when I first started doing it till now, there's definitely a bit more momentum in that way. So I think I wouldn't say we're leading the pack with clothing in terms of the fire service, but we're certainly moving in the right direction.
I definitely agree. I think it was slow to start with, and now I think through a lot of this interconnectivity as well, and through social media and through a lot more regional and national meetings, people
Oh, yeah.
are catching up quicker. Do you know what I
It
mean?
seems good practice, isn't it? It's like you see them. How are you doing that?
But also, you're not tolerating stuff
what are
as
you
much
wearing?
because you're seeing what someone else is doing, and you're like,
Yeah, how have they got that?
Yeah, I don't have to compromise on these things anymore. I want to be respectful of our time. We've spoken for nearly 2 hours probably now, but to leave something kind of in the mind of the listener, like tomorrow morning, or even whilst people are driving into work now, when they're putting their uniform on, when they're putting their kit on, what's the first thing you want people to think about or notice that they probably haven't been paying attention to before?
I'd say it's like, look in the mirror, are you happy with those clothes? I mean, we're critical often of ourselves anyway. I mean, I know within the fire service, so there's lots of very fit people who work hard to be that way and, look absolutely amazing as a result. But look at the clothes. Not necessarily you, but have a look in the mirror and look at those clothes. Do they fit? Now, I'm wearing a tactics jacket, the female fit, obviously, that fits me, right? It's not pulling down there. There's the seam. That seam's falling at the right place. This is made to fit here on my arm, not bagging down that it's a male fit who's got bigger shoulders. It's made to fit me and my side. I looked in the mirror this morning. I was like, that's all right. Yeah.
And that's it.
So
and if you think about what the
okay?
services are saying, like professional, ready for work, whatever the quote lines people have written on the side of their fire engines, do you feel that when you look at yourself in the mirror? Do I feel professional? Do I feel proud? Do I feel ready to respond? Do I feel, ready to go out and represent the basically global fire and rescue service community? Because that's what I am. I'm a physical manifestation of any other firefighter in the world. Someone will look at you and look at someone else and go, you're both firefighters. Do you look like one? Do you look professional?
100%. 100%. And I think as a basic, everybody should look in that mirror and they should answer, I feel good. I look good. I'm ready.
Claire, I loved catching up with you today. I know I was looking to get some time with you guys a few months ago.
Again, Pete.
I'm going to come down again.
I love talking.
I'm hoping I want to talk to you, but I know there's so much more that some of the other peeps around the team as well. I really want an opportunity to catch up with David at some point. Hopefully we can have him on for a chat in the future. That'd be great. But for anyone that wants to find out some more information, if they ever look underneath this, there'll be some links to First Tactical. Like I said before, we even since the get-go, but certainly around year 2, like 3 or 4 years ago, when people started talking to us and offering us different things, I got super serious about the sort of people that we have on, and because I realized it wasn't just innocent chats and banters and whatever anymore. I realized people were listening to it, so I was like, we're not gonna have people on if it's crap. We're not going to have companies or representatives or anything on if I don't think that my brother or sister in the fire service is actually going to benefit from this piece of information. So I really respect you guys coming on and having the time for it, but I really appreciate you guys investing your time in sort of doing some work with the podcast. So I look forward to seeing you again next time. I look forward to seeing David again. Send my love to the kids and the family and everybody.
I look
forward to catching up with you again soon.
Oh, thank you. All the best.
Well, that's it for today, folks. Hope you took a lot away from that episode. We started the Firefighters podcast to develop, inspire, connect, motivate, represent, and most importantly, celebrate the world of incredible emergency services operators and the wider sector through this series of wide-ranging conversations. We really love creating this podcast and bringing it to so many people. Did you know you can also find these on YouTube? We do a lot of video podcasts now. You can head over to our YouTube page and follow, subscribe there. And as a final ask from us, whatever platform you're on, please rate the podcast. It really helps us as a key performance indicator to reach more and more people. I've been your host, Pete Wakefield. This has been the Firefighters Podcast. And wherever you are in the world, please stay safe, be happy, and where possible, please remember and support your firefighters and first responders. I'll see you next time.